Welcome to the first episode of Earth 404, where we take a deep dive into the invisible giant. Introduction to the unseen environmental costs of the Internet. The hidden environmental costs associated with Internet use, revealing its significant carbon footprint. It highlights the energy consumption of data centers and the growing problem of e-waste, emphasizing the role of cloud computing and the Internet of Things in exacerbating these issues. The episode further examines potential solutions, such as transitioning to renewable energy sources and adopting circular economy principles within the tech industry. It suggests rethinking our digital habits and emphasizes the tech industry's responsibility in mitigating its environmental impact through sustainable practices and product design. Ultimately, this episode advocates for a future where the internet becomes part of the solution to climate change, not just a contributing factor.
Jet 404, think of. Jet 404, think of. Scrolling through the neon light, data streams in endless fight. We built a world we cannot see, but it's burning silently. Cables run like veins of steel, every click a power deal. Echoes rise from melting ice, can we turn and make it right? An Earth 404 warning. The system's crashing, we're rearranging. We built a world we cannot see, but it's burning silently. We're out of time, we're out of time. Earth 404 warning. The servers hum, the planet's
Welcome back,
mourning.
everybody, to another deep dive. Today we're talking about something that we literally use every day. The internet. It's like practically invisible.
Right.
It's just there.
It really is so easy to just take it for granted.
Totally. But there's like this whole massive physical world behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a huge impact that the internet has on, well, the whole planet, really.
So that's what we're diving into today. It's so convenient, to just like stream anything, message anyone, video chat. It's like crazy.
Right.
But what's the actual like cost of all that?
Well, like every little thing you do online, it uses energy.
Oh yeah, I never really think about that.
Yeah, and I mean, even just sending a text or liking a post uses a lot of energy. Like
Yeah.
behind the scenes, there are these giant data centers. They're like warehouses, just rows and rows of servers.
Right.
And that's where all the data is processed and stored.
So it's like the internet's library.
Yeah, but with cat memes and like bank transactions instead of books.
Way more fun.
Way more fun, way more energy too, though. I mean, these data centers, like worldwide, they use about 1% of all global electricity consumption.
Whoa, 1%.
Yeah, 1%. That's a ton of energy. And it's doubling every few years.
Wow. Okay, that is a lot.
It is. And here's the thing. Most of that electricity, it's coming from fossil fuels. Like the main thing that drives climate change.
Okay, so maybe the internet isn't so innocent after all.
No, but the tech world is like making some progress, trying to use renewable energy like solar and wind to power those data centers.
Are there like companies actually doing that?
Yeah, there are. Like Google and Amazon, they've said they're going to go 100% renewable, which is huge.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. What about like all the physical stuff though? Like all the phones and laptops. I mean, I'm on my third phone in 5 years. I'm sure I'm not alone.
You're definitely not alone. And that's another big problem. Electronic waste. Or e-waste. It's like the fastest growing waste stream in the world. Mountains of old phones and laptops and tablets.
It's got to be more than mountains at this point, right?
Right. And it's not just about the amount of stuff. It's also that it's all packed with toxic materials. Lead, mercury, all that stuff can leak into the environment.
Oh, so it's dangerous too.
Very dangerous.
Are there like recycling programs?
There are, but a lot of it ends up in landfills. Sadly, especially in countries where the regulations aren't as strict. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But it's a real problem.
Wow. So basically our quest for the newest tech is kind of poisoning the planet.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. And it's not just about when we throw things away. It's that they're designed to be hard to fix and recycle too.
Oh, so like glued together parts and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it really tough to repair and recycle.
Okay, so we like want convenience, but it comes at a cost.
It does. But there are some, like, hopeful things. Like, there's this idea of a circular economy where products are made to be repaired and upgraded so they last longer, and then eventually they're recycled.
So we're not just like using things and tossing them.
Exactly. It's like closing the loop.
That's cool. That's a good idea. I like that a lot. Okay, but now I kind of want to talk about the cloud. Where is the cloud and how bad is it for the environment?
Yeah, the cloud is kind of mysterious, right? But really, it's just those same data centers. That's where everything you store in the cloud lives.
So they're behind everything.
Pretty much. And the thing is, cloud computing, it just keeps growing, so the demand for data storage and processing power is just going up.
So those data centers are getting even bigger.
Way bigger. Think about it. Millions of people all over the world streaming Netflix at the same time.
Oh, good to know.
Or like video calls. All of that uses tons of energy.
So my Netflix binging has like real world consequences.
Yeah, kind of a bummer, right? But I mean, there are cloud providers that are switching to renewable energy.
Okay, well, that's good.
And, we can be more careful about what we store in the cloud.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like with all this, awareness is really important. Like, we just need to know how our online actions affect the planet.
Right. It's like being aware of your carbon footprint, but for your digital life.
I like that. Digital footprint. Okay, well, we have to stop here for now, but we will be back for part 2 of this deep dive, where we will be talking about some potential solutions and what we can do to, make a more sustainable digital future.
We will be back.
Earth 404, scrolling through the neon light, data streams in endless fight. We built a world we cannot see, but it's burning silently. Cables run like veins of steel, every click a power deal. Echoes rise from melting ice, can we turn and make it right? An Earth 404 warning. The system's crashing, we're rearranging. We built a world we cannot see, but it's burning silently. We're out of time, we're out of time. Earth 404 warning. The servers hung.
Okay, so welcome back to our deep dive into basically how our internet use affects the planet. And I'm not going to lie, part 1 got a little depressing.
Yeah, a little bit. But the good news is there are things we can do, like actual solutions. We're not powerless here.
Okay, good. I like hearing that. So what can we do? I mean, this feels like a huge global problem.
Yeah, it is. But think about like voting. One vote, it doesn't seem like much, right? But then millions of people vote and it makes a huge difference.
Right. Okay, I get it. So our little actions, if enough people do them, they can add up.
And exactly. It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So we can start with something simple, like being more aware of how much energy we're using. Like how often do you leave your computer on overnight?
Probably more than I should.
Or like a million tabs open in your browser, even if you're not actually using them.
Oh, yeah, definitely guilty of that. I mean, it seems harmless, right?
Well, even when they're just sitting there, those devices are still using power. It's like leaving the lights on in an empty room.
Okay, that makes sense. I can definitely start shutting things down more. What else? Give me more energy-saving tips.
Okay, so think about your devices. Do you really need a brand new phone every year? Or a new laptop every other year?
Oh, I know. It's so tempting. There's always a new shiny thing.
Right. But that whole cycle of upgrading all the time, it's a big part of the e-waste problem.
Okay, but what if, like, my phone breaks or my laptop is, like, dying?
Repair it. There are so many places that can fix your stuff, like repair shops, online resources. It's usually way cheaper than buying a new one, too.
Oh, that's a good point. I usually just, like, assume it's easier to buy a new one.
Yeah. And if it really is beyond repair, recycle it.
Okay, but where? Where do I recycle electronics so I know they won't just end up in a landfill?
A lot of electronic stores have recycling programs. You can also like Google it, find certified recyclers in your area. That way, they'll be handled properly, all the toxic stuff disposed of safely.
Okay, good to know. I feel like to be a good digital citizen, you got to do your research.
You do. And you have a lot of power as a consumer, too. Like when you buy new devices, support companies that make things that last, that are easy to repair, companies that care about sustainability.
Right. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Vote with my wallet.
Yeah.
What about the cloud, though? Any tips for that? It feels so, I don't know, intangible.
It does. But remember, all that data is still physically stored somewhere. And those data centers use energy. So, like, do you really need to keep every email you've ever sent, every photo?
You're making me feel like a hoarder. digital hoarder?
Maybe a little spring cleaning is in order.
Okay, you're right. Maybe I'll find some like forgotten treasures in there. Also, are there cloud providers that are like better than others in terms of energy use?
Yeah, definitely. Some of them are using renewable energy. Look for that when you're choosing a provider.
Okay, cool. So we've talked about like what individuals can do, but what about like the big picture? What are governments and tech companies doing about all of this?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely more awareness now, which is good. Some governments are starting to make policies about data centers, like how to make them more energy efficient. And there's more focus on e-waste, too.
That's good. Regulations and stuff like that can make a big difference, I guess. What about the tech companies themselves? Are they doing anything?
Yeah, a lot of them are actually. They're starting to see that like sustainability is good for business. It can save them money, make them look good to customers.
Right. So it's not just about being like altruistic. It makes sense for them financially too.
Yeah, exactly. So they're investing in renewable energy, designing more efficient devices, and even working on like new ways to recycle stuff.
Cool. So it feels like things are changing, but it also feels like, I don't know, we're just getting started. Like there's so much more that needs to happen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are some bigger systemic changes that need to happen. Like, we need to move away from this whole idea of just using things up and throwing them away.
Right. That whole linear model.
Yeah,
It's not sustainable.
exactly. We need a circular model. And we need everyone to, like, be aware of the problem and take responsibility.
It's like we're all connected, right?
Yeah.
Digitally and environmentally. Our actions affect other people and the planet.
Yeah, I like that. Our digital lives, they have real-world consequences.
That's deep, man. Okay, so we've talked about the problems and some solutions. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but also like hopeful.
That's good. It's a complex issue, but there's hope.
Okay, so everyone listening, we're going to take another break, and then we'll be back with the final part of our deep dive, where we'll get to some of the really cool innovations that are happening right now, and we'll talk more about how we can all be better digital citizens.
Stay tuned.
Echoes rise from melting ice. Can we turn and make it right? Systems crashing, we're ignoring. Digital ghostly scars behind. We're out of time. We're out of time. Earth 444. Servers hum the planet's morning. Can we break the cycle now before it all shuts down? Wastelands, forgotten towns, burning wires, poison ground. A billion posts, 1,000 likes, but silence falls when nature fights. Signals rise and rivers fall. Every search of carbon how we dreamed of progress paved the way, but now the cost is here to stay. Intensifies warmth, it's stronger. Systems crashing, we're ignoring. Digital ghostly scars behind. We're out of time. We're out of time.
All right, we are back for the final part of our deep dive into the internet and the planet. And, the first two parts, we talked about kind of the downsides, the problems. But now I want to hear about the, cool stuff, the solutions, the innovations.
Well, get ready to be amazed because there are some, really brilliant people out there working on making the internet way more sustainable.
Okay, I am ready. Hit me with it. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, for one thing, energy-efficient hardware. Like the chips that power our phones and computers and everything, they're getting so much better, like smaller, faster, and they use way less energy.
So, the actual guts of our tech are getting greener.
Yeah, pretty much. Imagine, phones that last for days on one charge. Or laptops that barely use any power, even when you're doing, intense stuff.
That would be amazing. I would love that. What about data centers? Any progress there? Because those things are, energy monsters.
They are. But people are getting really creative with, cooling solutions. Because, all those servers running, they generate a ton of heat. And then you need even more energy to cool them down.
It's like a vicious cycle.
Totally. So some companies are putting data centers in colder places, where they can use natural cooling.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, and others are using, liquid cooling, which is way more efficient than just, blasting AC all the time.
Liquid cooling. Sounds kind of sci-fi.
It is kind of, and there are some even wilder ideas out there, like underwater data centers.
Wait, what? Underwater? Really?
Yeah, think about it. The ocean is like naturally cold,
Yeah.
and the temperature is way more stable than on land.
Huh. That is a cool idea. I never would have thought of that. So it seems like necessity is the mother of invention, right? We have these huge problems, so we got to come up with creative solutions.
Right. And the tech industry is realizing that sustainability isn't just like a nice thing to do, it's also good for business.
Yeah, makes sense. But we can't just rely on technology to fix everything, right?
You're right, we can't. It's also about like how we use technology. We have to be more mindful, ask ourselves if we really need that new gadget or if we can repair the old one. Be more aware of our impact.
So it's on us too, like to make better choices.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture of like digital sustainability, educating each other, supporting companies that are doing the right thing, pushing for better policies.
That's a group effort.
It totally is. We need to work together to create a digital future that's, both amazing and sustainable, where technology helps us but doesn't destroy the planet in the process.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of like heavy stuff, but I'm walking away from this feeling honestly kind of hopeful. Like there are solutions, we're not doomed.
I agree. There's a lot of work to do, but there's definitely hope.
Well, thank you so much for like taking us on this journey, helping us understand all of this.
It's been my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. The future of the internet is, kind of in our hands, so let's make it a good one.
For the neon light, data streams in endless flight. We built a world we cannot see, but it's burning silently. Cables run like veins of steel. Every click a power deal. Echoes rise from melting ice. Can we turn and make it right? Earth 444 systems crashing. We're ignoring digital ghostly scars behind. We're out of time. We're out of time. Earth 444 servers hung the planet's morning. Can we break the cycle now before it all shuts down? Wastelands, forgotten towns, burning wires, poison ground. A billion posts, 1,000 likes, but silence falls when nature fights. Signals rise and rivers fall. Every search of carbon copy. Dreamed of progress, paved the way, but now the cost is here to stay. Intensifies moments. Earth 444 systems crashing. We're ignoring digital ghostly scars behind. We're out of time. We're out of time. Earth 444 servers hung the planet's morning. Can we break the cycle now before it all shuts down? We built a world of ones and zeros, but nature speaks in winds and echoes. If we could just rewrite the code, would we choose the greenest road?